Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. Just a day after being nominated by Prime Minister Péter Magyar, Hungary's most celebrated chess player, Judit Polgár, turned down the presidency, describing the offer as the honor of her life, but saying she could not unite a deeply divided country. Now, the unexpected decision leaves Hungary searching for a new head of state, while a wider constitutional transformation is already underway. Our guest today is István Hegedűs, chairman of the Hungarian Europe Society. Good to have you back with us. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
So, I want to avoid the puns, but I can't. I'll say checkmate here. But why exactly, first of all, the choice of the legendary Ms. Polgár, and why the refusal?
Well, the choice was probably a very good idea because Judit Polgár is a very popular personality in Hungary. She's a woman. She's very well known internationally. She could represent theoretically the whole nation. She doesn't belong to any of the parties. She has no political record. And that was probably the number one idea why Péter Magyar suggested her. Actually, these were some Hungarian intellectuals from both left and right, a group of people who suggested her to Tisza Party and Péter Magyar, but it did not work.
But also at the same time, it seems, as you said, someone who is well known internationally in Hungary as well. This choice, how much coordination do you think there was? Was this a surprise for her that she was nominated? Did they reach out to her before? How do you think that went?
Well, I guess there was some coordination beforehand, and probably Judit Polgár knew this about her nomination. And there is a story that someone who suggested her talked to her husband, and she seemed to accept it. However, it's of course a sort of mistake or failure for Péter Magyar why and how it happened yesterday. And I think he went too far, too fast. He's a very dynamic person. The Prime Minister, not only the chess player, Judit Polgár, she's also very dynamic. And Péter Magyar went too fast, too far, already proclaiming that Judit Polgár would become the provisional president of the Republic. And there were a lot of confusion in the social media and in the Hungarian public in general. There were many counter-arguments. Many have a lot of support to Polgár. However, she has no political experience at all. She has no, any commitments to values, to political ideas. So some people started to argue that we don't know her. And the number one problem was that Magyar at the beginning said that there will be a 30 days long consultation, sort of period for people to come out with ideas who might become the new president. And then just the day after, he already made a sort of decision. And that created a lot of conflicts, even amongst his supporters, within Tisza Party supporters. Why is this rush? And I think politically, he took the consequence because Magyar, at the end, yesterday night, apologized for this too fast communication process or the process in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting point there. And also, I just want to get your opinion on what Polgár said. She called it the nomination the honor of her life before refusing it. But why do you think, if we can make sense out of it, your opinion on why she did refuse it?
There were some counter-arguments which were not nice. Maybe that also made her angrier, or maybe more, she had a feeling that it would not be a fairy tale at all to get into politics, which is very dirty, of course, very often, and it's not for her. But she did not really explain why she refused it. The argument that she cannot bring together a very polarized political society might be true, of course, but it might be impossible for anybody. The counter-argument might be that at the moment, Tisza has such a popularity that for a while you cannot in general, create a common narrative for both the left and the right, for former or current Fidesz supporters, Orbán believers, we still have them, and left liberals on the other side, moderate conservative also belong there. So it's a mission impossible. And I think that for Polgár, it became evident that already on the very first day of her nomination, created a sort of problematic, scandalous situation. And Magyar took all the responsibility. We don't know much about their communication. It was not an open process, actually. So I can imagine that for someone who is not in politics, who is not in political life, this conflict already showed that it would be much more harder than you could have imagined before.
Mm-hmm. And also I wanted to ask you, you mentioned earlier, you said that Péter Magyar, the Prime Minister, was too fast, too far. So you called it a failure of his, but it's kind of interesting because we've had, ever since that election, so many high expectations and speed, I think, expectations from Europe of this Prime Minister. Now he's done this. So will this temper him somehow? Do you think this will impact him in other ways, or is it only now very much to this choice of presidential nominations?
Well, it might hurt him domestically. I think internationally, many people would say it's not a good result because Polgár is well known internationally, globally. But it doesn't matter so much in the longer run. But in Hungary, it's Péter Magyar's first real mistake or failure. And as I said, many of his supporters also showed a sort of outrage, why it happened, how it happened, and it also, in a way, polarized his own camp. Some of the people would have suggested someone else, and Péter Magyar did not listen to them, but tried to decide without a real consultation period. And people wanted to participate in the process. So it might hurt him, but maybe at the end, because he apologized, which is very new, Orbán never apologized for anything. So it shows that what a difference we have today combined to the previous regime. Maybe it helps him to get rid of this one-day scandal and to go on more smoothly and dynamically as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know that Magyar, the Prime Minister, has many, many things still to tackle. I'm just curious, one of the things that's actively being pursued right now is a review of state support. There was state support for many industries, including the Chinese. If we're looking at Chinese manufacturers, car manufacturers, BYD, and Mr. Szijjártó, the former foreign minister, who now is taking a senior position at BYD. How does this now work? And will we see a different relationship with the Chinese and the Hungarian government and businesses? And how does this review and Mr. Szijjártó's role, let's say, play out here?
Well, it's a real scandal, of course, that, you know, just after being foreign minister for more than 10 years, 13 years, 12 years, Szijjártó just stepped down as a member of parliament, and he never really showed up there and chose a position in BID. And of course, the ruling party, TISA party, attacks him, and this creates a tension between China and Hungary. Maybe you can separate issues, saying that Hungary tries to have a very pragmatic relationship with China and Russia. That's another issue. But this very story is very problematic, and the government might even try to create a law which forbids former government officials to become lobbyists or managers in foreign companies, especially in China and in Russia. So we don't know what the outcome will be. Maybe Szijjártó can continue. It's much more probably not a real position. He might not be a real industrial manager because he has no experience, but he might be responsible for global connections. And of course, Szijjártó is not very welcome in most of the EU partner countries because he's seen as a sort of Russian spy, to formulate it this way. In the last month, we all remember, I guess, his telephone talks with Sergei Lavrov. So Magyar tries to block this sort of new position of Szijjártó, but maybe it's too late because in Hungary there was no law. There will be a new law. Whether it can work retrospectively, we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm. And just before we close, one real quick one. I think we have 30 days before a new president needs to be chosen. Do you think we'll keep to that timeline in Hungary?
According to the constitution, yes, the government has to keep this timeline. This will be a provisoric president, actually, and then there will be another process which hopefully includes social participation, citizens' participation, and the outcome should be a new constitution, hopefully supported by the big majority of the society.
All right, so we will continue obviously watching what happens in Hungary, as many things going on there, including a search for a new president. Thank you so much for all that. Always a pleasure having you, István Hegedűs. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much again.
And thank you for watching World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more. Goodbye.